Hi and good evening, everyone. My name is Albert, and this is Vlogs About Nothing. Thank you for watching my show. I really appreciate it. I guess as we go down right now, there's a new episode of the Y-Files that's streaming live, and I'm missing it. So, I should do my vlogs earlier, but I feel like it wouldn't be as impactful as if I waited until I actually ate a little bit of food and had some kind of coherence as to my surroundings. Anyways, I hope that you guys are doing very well, and honestly, seriously, I really need to get to watching the Y-Files right about now. I also need to get to working on the eBay store, which is doing pretty good too, so there's always that. I came into this video having a complete idea of what I'd be talking about. Unfortunately, as it sometimes works out here on the channel because of my limited mental capacity to think about all of the things that I want to talk to everybody about. Right, it's just a fancy way of saying I forgot what I was going to be talking about. Oh, I thought it was pretty courageous though that AJ and Hecklefish decided to stream an episode, on Halloween cuz that's dope. Like seriously, I think a lot of us would rather be watching the Y-Files than doing out anything outside, there because I'm sure candy bars are very expensive. Halloween holidays are beginning to be expensive, right? One thing that I do want to talk about is I want to talk about the incredibly low cost of fast food. So I started talking about this maybe about a month ago, right? Because I just noticed, and I think there were all hundreds of videos released on YouTube about people noticing there being a drop or a decline in fast food prices. So before, even just a few months ago, everyone, including myself, was talking about how expensive a Big Mac was. How expensive things were and things like that. But now it's interesting that everybody has not just $5 deals or $6 deals, but companies are losing money actively trying to get their customers back. And I think it's interesting because they made a bunch of money and now they're having to spend a bunch of money by losing a bunch of money with that spending to get people back in, and it shouldn't have happened in the first place. It just simply shouldn't have. I mean, nobody should have been able to sell their house for 8 times what they bought it for just 3 years ago before the pandemic. I mean, typically, if it's too good to be true, it is really too good to be true. And I don't understand why people can't follow that very basic thing as it concerns large assets that you may or may not have, like your home and stuff. You feel me? I mean, yeah, it's nice and everything to sell your home for 8 times its value from when you bought it, but when you're out there looking for a new house and everything is 8 times more than what you paid for it just a few years ago, then you're stuck with no money and sort of a worse situation, right? Because this time you don't actually maybe own the kind of home that you wanted or any. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a homeowner, never have been, so I haven't had the luxury of losing, a home or having to sign paperwork, to get a mortgage. Holy potatoes! I am an unemployed brown millennial. What is this? You think this is like middle class America and I'm a white guy in the 80s and I can like, nope, that's not the way this works. And I wish it did work like that. You feel me? And there's definitely been instances in my life where my credit score has been above 600, but I mean, these instances are few and far between. So the odds are kind of stacked against me in that regard, as they are all of my colleagues. And it doesn't seem to matter if they're white, black, brown, or whatever. They, them, it doesn't matter if you're under a certain age. I think they call that age discrimination. I've never heard of like that conversation being had as it concerned, what is that, like reverse age discrimination? It's like 10 years ago, old people were complaining that they couldn't find work. And now, 10 years later, I would argue that young people like should be protesting the fact that the local jobs that people have at their gas stations are all given to people that are like 80 years old. Like seriously. And it's no offense to them, but isn't it a culturally interesting perspective to go to a Walmart and see somebody who should be your great grandma greeting you? I mean, again, like, don't you think that, like, somebody a little bit younger, like just because all the job entails, and then it can go both ways, right? And then people are like, well, I still want to work. I'm going to work until I die. It's like, okay, well, we're not all crazy, Johnny, and most of us don't want to work at all, much less till the day we die. I mean, does everybody need a self-implemented, force enforced kind of sentenced to want to do things they don't want to do because they think it's a cool thing to do for the rest of their life? I don't understand. Anyways, um, right now, the Y Files is on, and I'm missing that. So I'm sure I'll get to that in just a couple of minutes. And let's talk also. What else can we talk about? Oh, okay. So Coheed and Cambria. Um, have new music and it blows my mind. They have a way different sound, and I was listening to some of their new stuff last night. But I mean, I grew up with this band. This dude has been playing and singing the guitar. He's been playing the guitar, singing songs for like 22 years, and I mean, like, I'm 37, so I started listening to this band when like I was about like 17, you feel me? So a couple years after they had started, and like it's just cool to see an organic grown band like that. But their new stuff it hits different. It's like hard rock, heavy metal screamo, which I'm for, right? But like I was just more about, I guess, the emo sounding stuff with high synthesizer like 2 decades ago. I guess that's what I'm more interested, or more that's what I was interested in initially when I first discovered that band. But now, as I get older and they're still making new music, I find myself, kind of remarkably surprised that one, they are still around, and two, they've grown musically, and now it's a different vibe. And now, for all of us fans that have been fans for 20 years, I like that. I like when things change organically, because I mean, it gets boring sometimes, all the same things. There's something terribly comfortable about routine and having some kind of a nesting, practice or whatever. But I also feel like it's also just equally important to change things up a bit, mix it up a little bit. And so that's kind of cool, because if it's from the people that you like that original content from, it's really easy to translate on over to something else they may do, just simply because you feel that person, that vibe, that actor, that entertainer, whatever it is. I also am wearing a scarf and have been all day. I've decided that wearing scarves in my house or in my apartment, like, that's going to be a thing. I'm a real skinny guy. It helps keep me warm, and like, I don't know. I think that's why I like wearing a scarf inside, and why I think I'll be wearing a scarf inside from here till I'm, I guess, going to sleep or bathing, because I'm obviously going to wear scarves outside because it's cold now. And for some reason, all of the visitors took all the good weather with them. So I just want to thank global warming and climate change in this current perspective as it is, right? Scientifically speaking, all of it true, all that other stuff. I'm just saying that, like, I wish, that the balloon fiesta weather would have been just as cold and weird and awkward and cringe as it immediately became like a day after the balloon fiesta ended, because then a million other people could feel the high desert, uncomfortable, bitter cold wind that passes through each morning when it's like 49 degrees or something. No, I think the low has been like low 60s, you feel me? But I mean, I don't want to sound any more old than I already am by talking about the weather. So I'm not going to talk about the weather. I'm going to end up wrapping this vlog up. I really do appreciate you guys joining me. You seriously, you feel me? I did want to talk about gig apps. That's what I wanted to talk about. So I guess I'll talk about that in the next video. I do, in fact, have one more to make. So I hope that you guys are safe tonight. It is Halloween, and I think that's also what we're going to talk about in the next video. Finally, is Halloween. So that should be fun. There's a new movie called Wicked out that's based on the musical, which is actually a really good musical, but I don't understand why they would take a really awesome award-winning musical and turn it into some low-budget, mainstream Hollywood stuff. But hey, I just don't think it looks like a good movie. And I think the Broadway musical is one of the best musicals I've ever seen. And yes, your boy here has seen more than a dozen musicals. Yeah, and what? I enjoy musicals. Yes, I also like the opera and ballet. Is there a problem with that? Anyways, I hope that you guys have a lovely evening, all right? Bye.